call came through the 911 center at about 8:19 a.m. this morning. A person stated that his mother had been stabbed.
We don't have a suspect at this point.
At this point, no.
Okay. We have any idea how well? I mean, what kind of condition she's in, or?
No, not yet. They did say stab wounds on her neck and body.
Neck and body. Okay.
And my body went limp, and when the ambulance driver said, "Oh man, we just lost her." I was getting ready that morning as usual, getting ready to go to work downtown, and I live like just a couple of blocks at that time because we moved to the newer building now and the annex building now. But I was just getting ready, you know, for work and that morning, and as I got ready to leave, I had my oldest daughter at the time was 19 years old, and she was home for college, and then I had a 17-year-old and an 8-year-old, and you know, it was summertime, of course, so the kids were home. And so as I got ready to leave, I had a box of vases, of glass vases, and I lived on the second floor in the loft apartment. And right as I locked the door, and I opened up on the second floor landing, I could hear like this, like footsteps, like rushing upstairs. I seen this young man approach me, and I was carrying the boxes in my hand like this, and my purse on my shoulder. And I said, "Excuse me, sir," and I was trying to get around him. And in that moment, it's like all hell broke loose. He started beating me in my face, and it felt like a brick, but I couldn't see because my vision was impaired, because when he just started just coming in at me like right then and punching me in my face. And so I was telling the young man, I said, "Sir," I said, "take, you know, my purse, the keys to my car," and he never said one word to me. And so he just continually kept beating me in my face, and it was like he was trying to push me down to the ground in the stairwell, and I kept trying to fight him back, and he would not let up off me, and then by that time it's like he had this furious, his eyes were like fixated, like he was on something, and he just looked at me like with this mean look, and then the next thing I knew, he grabbed a knife from his pocket, and I just remember, and he just started stabbing me, and I felt him stab me in my head first, and I could feel the blood like just dripping, and it was getting in my eyes and burning, and I just kept trying to fight him, and he just kept stabbing me, and he stabbed me in my chest, and then here in my hand, while I was trying to hit him, and he just took the knife and went like into my hand, and like I said, I just you know, continued fighting him, and it was just he would not let up like off of me. It's like he went up, because I was stabbed like over 10 times, because I could feel my jaw. He cut off part of my ear, and then my neck from here to here, it was all open. I can feel my skin like flapping, and here on my face, it was open, and it was, you know, I could feel it, and I could smell, you know, all that blood, and so then he was going up, you know, to get me again, like in my face, and I just started screaming. I said, "Jesus, help me! Jesus, save me!" And in that very moment, he stopped, and he had the knife, like just looking at me, you know, and it's like he seen something around me, because he was just staring at it, and he started shaking, and then he took off running. I took my keys, and my keys was covered in blood. I didn't even know which key to get back into the apartment, and I was just praying, "God, please help me find the right key." And so as I opened up the door. The first key that I picked up was the right key, and so I opened up the door and I locked the door behind me. I woke up my 19-year-old first because I didn't want to scare my baby because I was, you know, messed up pretty bad. And when I woke up my 19-year-old, she started screaming and she's like, "Mama, who did this to you?" And I couldn't, I was talking real faint because I was losing so much blood, and I was feeling like I was finna pass out. And I just told her, I said, "Please call and get me help." And she just started screaming, and like she went in shock.
Well, what do you remember about him?
He was maybe about 5'11", young black guy. He was light skinned, and his hair was it was longer at the top. It was curly at the top, and his edges were shorter. And he looked pretty young, looked like he was in his early 20s.
You were injured pretty badly, and I think doctors didn't give you a lot of chances.
I mean, because I remember when I got a chance to talk to my mom, the police officer that was there told my mom that I was going to die en route to the hospital, and for my mom to hurry and get to the hospital because it wasn't, the chance of me surviving was slim to none, and that, you know, I would die there, so she needed to hurry up and say her last goodbyes, you know.
How is it when you walk out of your apartment or your home these days? How is it, you know, do you have that fear that, you know, what's on the other side of that door?
Yeah, it's like, it's a gradual process for me. Just like coming up here today was very hard for me because this is my first time driving downtown by myself since the attack.
Oh wow! Two years.
Because even though I work for Judge Beavers as a legal clerk, but I can't drive to work. I have to be brought to work. It's something, you know, I don't think I ever forget. Like every time I walk outside, I feel threatened. You know, like I'm always watching my shoulders, and I always have that fear because I don't know where this person is. Is this person watching me?
And what got you to this point today to where you wanted to come to the newspaper and talk to us about it?
I just feel like, you know, it's part of therapy for me because I used to not want to talk about it for a year. I've been going through counseling, and I'm you know, still seeing a counselor, and I just feel I need to get my story out there so people can be aware, especially, you know, young ladies, you know, to watch your surroundings, and it's during this holiday season, how, you know, the world is so mean, you know, and I never thought that, you know, this would happen, you know, to me, but it can, you know.
Right.
And I just want people to be aware.
You see yourself talking to other victims at some time, you know, that are just starting to go through the process that you've already come through?
Yeah, I see that. When this past summer, I'm originally from El Dorado, Arkansas, and I met a young lady at this fashion show, and she had a group of women that have lost their children to violent crime, and she wanted me to come speak to the group, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, and it was my first time, you know, telling, you know, my story, but you know, it was like in a church, you know, but once I told my story, and it was like people came up afterwards and they said, thank you so much because your story helped me, you know.
Right.
And it was like therapy for me. It made me feel like it was hope, you know. But I can see in the future, you know.
Well, good. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us. It took a lot of courage to come in here and do this.